Okay? Walk and trying to snap the heel up right up under the rear. Okay? It's important in doing this drill that you try to snap the foot up off the ground quick. The slower you pull it, the harder it is to get it to come up all the way up under the rear. Prior to doing these drills, it's also good to start, especially for the beginners, to start with the bend and tuck drill to make sure that they have their hips in the proper position. The next drill is what we call a march and line. They're going to march with both legs moving, but the focus again is lining the heels. Okay? March and line. Okay. The next drill is what we call a skip and line drill. And we progress right from the march and line. We let them march a little bit, then they just kind of work it into a skipping motion. Again, the focus is to keep the hips tucked, but we're lining the heels as they're skipping. After the skip and line drill, we progress into the pump and line. Pump and line is where we're pumping the knees up and down, but at the same time our primary focus is lining the heels and tucking the hips. High heels, get them up high. Okay. Now in performing this drill correctly, we need to make sure that they focus on tucking the hips, because as they tuck the hips, it positions the pelvis in such a way that the knees are much more apt to hit a higher position because of just the positioning of the pelvis. Then if the athlete's heels come up in a straight line up under the rear in a high position, the knees come up in a very high, natural manner. Okay. The next drill is just a continuation of the pump and line drill, with the exception that we're starting to focus on rhythm. And one of the important parts of the long jump approach is the rhythm on the runway. We want to start out in a really strong, slow rhythm, then gradually pick up to a quicker rhythm until all the way at the end where the rhythm is at its quickest. Okay, so we're going to do the pump and line and start out in a real slow manner. So real slow, and then have quickest at the end. Good, good. Key to this drill is that when they start slow, we want to have the heels finishing in a high position, hips tucked like they should be all the way through. But gradually as they start picking up rhythm, we want to continue getting the heels up in that high position. If they keep the hips tucked and the heels finish high, the knees just naturally finish in a high position. We never try to focus on lifting the knees. If the heels are moving in the right direction with the hips tucked, the knees are just a natural part of the run. This next drill is what we refer to as a rhythm knee blend. It's where the athlete is actually doing a rhythm knee drill in place with a very slow rhythm, but then they're gradually going to lean forward and progress and blend that rhythm knee into a running motion. Now they're not going to be at top speed because they're not really getting much drive out of their run, but we're focusing again on hips and lining the heels, but with more of a running motion. In doing the rhythm knee blend, we need to, again, keep in mind that this is not really a true running motion, because what we've done is we've eliminated the drive phase. And the next thing we're going to work on is the actual drive phase of each stride. The next few drills we're going to be working on driving and along with dorsiflexion, trying to keep the toes up. The first drill that we're going to do for the drive phase is what we call a lunge bound. Now, lunge bound is a bound where the athlete is exaggerating each stride and actually sort of driving so hard that they kind of pose and float in the air a little bit. It's very similar to what a triple jumper does in their bounding, but it's all forward. We're trying to create as much forward speed as we can in an exaggerated way to where we're traveling some distance, but we don't want to be bouncing up and down. We try and keep it very level. We try to cover about 20 meters or 20 yards, somewhere in that area. But one of the main focuses also is we're trying to keep the athlete off the toes. We want to try and stay flat. So we're actually focusing on dorsiflexion, keeping the toes up, landing flat, but they are going to push off the toe, but trying to land flat-footed. The next drill is a 20-meter lunge bound with a sprint blend. What that means is the athlete's going to do the lunge bound just like they had been, but now, after they hit the 20 meters, they're going to gradually work it into a sprinting motion. But it's going to be a very gradual pickup in rhythm. The effort is to try to maintain the good drive phase as they're gradually picking up rhythm into a normal running motion. Okay. The next drill is a one-step, two-bound with a sprint blend. We're going to take one easy step, two driving strides, and then they're going to blend it into a sprint from there. The next drill following the one-step, two-lunge bound blend is we're going right into a rhythm sprint. A rhythm sprint is basically the same as what we just finished. The only difference is we're not exaggerating the lunge bounds as much, but we're still trying to drive out on those two strides. The key is we're trying to get the athlete into a drive mode and then just gradually pick up the rhythm to maintain that nice drive phase. In progressing from the rhythm sprint, we can work right into approach work. From this point, what we'll have the athlete do is do a rhythm sprint with another athlete at the end of the runway or the end of the track who's ready to catch either their 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th stride of their takeoff leg. So if they're going to run for 16 strides in their long jump approach, we'd have the athlete catch their 8th left foot or their 8th right foot to get their approach. In doing that, they'll repeat that run over and over and over until they become very consistent with their marks. This particular drill is what we call the in-place countdown drill. The term countdown refers to the fact that we're counting backwards from 4 all the way to 0. Instead of saying 0, however, we're going to say the word heel. Okay? As the athlete walks in place, they're going to be up on the ball of the foot. But every time their non-takeoff foot touches the ground, we're going to count. And in this case, Catherine takes off on her right foot. She's going to count her left foot. She's going to count 4, 3, 2, 1, heel, pop. As she walks in place, the left foot is going to be on the ball of the foot until we say heel. Then she'll place it down. Ready, go. 4, 3, 2, 1, heel, pop. Good. Now we'll do this drill from a walk where we're actually moving forward and finishing up with a little bit of a pop off the ground. 4, 3, 2, 1, heel, pop, like that. In doing the walking countdown drill, it's really important that you're walking on the balls of the foot, which is not quite natural. Now we don't want you leaning forward and falling over, but trying to be on the balls of the foot and then finally going to the heel on the next to last stride. All right, now in Danny's case, Danny jumps off the left foot, so he's going to count his right foot. 4, 3, 2, 1, heel, pop. A natural progression from the walking countdown is the jogging countdown. Now instead of walking, they're going to jog again, trying to stay up on the balls of the feet before they go to the heel on the penultimate stride. 4, 3, 2, 1, heel, pop. Okay? 3, 2, 1, heel, pop. After the jogging countdown takeoff drill, now we go to the running. We're going to run to where they're probably about 50% speed, and the 4, 3, 2, 1 heel pop countdown is 10 total strides, or 5 lefts or 5 rights. 4, 3, 2, 1, heel pop. Good. Four, 3, 2, 1, heel pop. Good, good. These next drills are what we refer to as a continuous countdown drills. And what they're going to do is they're going to do 3 to 4 countdown drills without stopping. So they're going to start out with a 4, 3, 2, 1 heel pop, run out of it, and then get another 1 or 2 in before they finish the drill. As we showed earlier, we can also do drills where it involves steering, where we set down the takeoff rolls and the athlete adjusts stride and also try to fit in the heel pop in between. Okay? And doing the steering drills, we can go from a jog all the way to a run. So as we start letting them run, we start increasing the distance. Good. Next set of drills we're going to be working on flight, and I like to keep the flight technique fairly simple. When working on the hitch kick specifically, is we're going to work on just the arm action on the ground where we punch and actually cycle the arms through in the proper manner. Okay. In doing this drill, the athlete goes through the running motion as though they're running, and then they finish the takeoff, boom, like this, and as they'll stop, and their effort is to try and block the arms. Then the arms begin to extend into a cycling motion like this. The lead arm always comes around in a full cycle, so as they swing and block, this will always come around a full cycle here. Okay, that's just kind of to give them the feel for how the arms are going to move in the air. At first, when the athlete learns the hitch, we want it to be a very natural thing, something that just kind of happens as a result of the forward rotation they're getting. But in order to help to get the arms to move properly, we want to have a certain drill in mind or a certain technique in mind to help that happen. When they're in the air, we want the arms to be in a nice, long, extended position. This drill is when the athletes are actually going to run down the runway, take off of this ramp. The ramp's going to give them a little bit more air time. But in this particular drill, we're focusing on a nice punch off the takeoff with the lead arm. And that lead arm and the back arm are both going to kind of extend and complete a cycle. This arm is going to complete a full cycle. The trailing arm behind will come half circle to the front down in this position. And then they're going to run out of their landings. This drill is only effective if the athlete is experiencing a little bit of forward rotation as they come off the ramp. If they reach to get onto the box, what will happen is that'll block their forward rotation and they're not going to feel the need to do the hitching motion. The hitch kick, again, is a reflex that occurs when your body's starting to fall forward. But in this particular drill, we do not want them reaching for takeoff. Good, good. I hope you've learned a little bit about the long jump today. And looking at the long jump, I feel that one of the things that coaches and athletes need to understand is that it is a simple event, and it's a simple event to learn. There are a lot of natural, innate skills in the long jump that we need to learn how to trigger. And part of this drill is we're trying to teach the coaches and the athletes how to trigger these drills and what it is that actually keeps